All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the Schumer Box, okay? And the Schumer Box is an account summary for the most important information for a credit card that you might be applying for, okay? This is legally required by the bank or whichever company might be issuing the credit card, okay? But this is what you want to be able to understand. You want to be able to read this, to compare offers, to compare potential credit cards, and make the best decision for you, okay? So we're going to go through each of these rows within the table and discuss the important information, okay? So first thing, the APR, that's the interest rate that you're going to pay for purchases that you make, okay? So in this case, the interest you'll pay on purchases that you don't pay off each month, okay? This card has an introductory 0% offer, okay, that lasts for about 15 months. After that, the APR is going to go up to this 13.99%, all right? Now, this APR is going to be based on your credit score, your credit history. The higher the credit score, the lower the interest rate. The worse your credit score, the higher this interest rate is going to be, okay? Now, this APR is always going to be, maybe not always, most of the time, the vast majority of the time, it's going to be based on what we call the prime rate, okay? This is a national rate, an index that could move this APR higher. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is balance transfers, okay? Balance transfers are when you transfer a credit card balance from another credit card to this new card, okay? So this is going to be the interest that you pay on those balance transfers. Okay, this card has a wonderful perk here. It's a 0% introductory offer. When you make a transfer by January 29th of 2022, and you'll pay 0% interest over about the first 15 months here, okay? So if you've got a balance and you're paying interest on one credit card, you can move that balance to this card, and you can continue making payments without the interest, adding up, okay? So this is one way to save a lot of money, okay? After that 15-month period, you'll notice that the APR kicks back up to the 13.99% for the credit card. But again, over that first 15 months, you can save a lot of money. So the next thing we're going to look at is cash advances. Notice for this card, you've got two different types of cash advances, okay? And the APR is going to be different for each of those, all right? So the interest rate you're going to pay on two different types of cash advances, you only want to take these cash advances on a credit card in extreme circumstances, okay? Notice these interest rates are very high, significantly higher than the introductory APR of 13.99%. One of the most important things you want to know is what happens with penalties, okay? Notice here with the penalty APR and when it applies. On this card, it only applies after a late payment, okay? But notice the spike, okay, in the APR. It goes from 13.99%, it more than doubles to 30% based on your credit worthiness, okay? Again, this is based on the prime rate, but you always want to make your payments on time. A lot of times companies will, or banks will, if you'll call in and say, listen, I'm sorry about that late payment, they'll probably waive it as long as you make your payments on time most of the time. If you have a good history, they're more likely to waive that, okay? And you want to make sure they waive it because this jump in percentage will cost you a lot of money. Next thing we want to look at is paying interest, okay? Read through this. You'll notice that it talks about the due date for the payment, but the second sentence is the most important here, okay? You can avoid interest entirely if you pay off the entire bill each month, okay? Also notice that cash advances and balance transfers are going to be treated differently, all right? So you benefit greatly if you can pay off the entire balance each month. You'll never pay interest if that's the case. If you are charged interest, notice that there's a minimum interest charge here of $1.50. So if you do have to pay interest, that's the minimum amount that can be charged to the account. And finally, we want to look at the fees here. Notice there's a collection of fees here, and they're all based on a percentage of whatever type of transaction you're using, okay? So balance transfer is going to be 3%. Cash advance, depending on where that cash advance comes from, you're looking at 3 to 5%. Foreign transaction fee of 3%, and a wire transfer, if you need to do that, would be 5%. Notice also there's a minimum $10 fee on each of those, except for the foreign transaction fee. Okay, and finally, the penalty fee for a late payment is up to $40, and that could, we call it graduated. It would start a little lower than that and build up to $40 if you continuously make late payments. Okay, so that's how to analyze a Schumer box and kind of to figure out if a credit card is right for you.